Love Sport, 558 AM.
Welcome back. Happy Thursday. This is the hashtag show on Love Sport Radio. Thank you very much to Claude there, who goes through Twitter every day to find out things that he finds most hilarious and also most important. And I do think, actually, what he came on there was a really good sign of what I love about Twitter, but also what is just bonkers about it. And that's what we're trying to actually reflect on this show. I hope it comes across. Is we kind of have a laugh and we enjoy things. We also cover some of the serious stories and some of the serious topics that are always trending there. Tommy Robinson has been either banned or suspended from Twitter. I haven't seen yet clarification on that. I don't think they've even clarified with Tommy exactly what the situation is. If you have a thought on that, 0208 70 20 558. It is not too late. I'm not a poet. That would have rhymed if I were. At Love Sport Radio is the Twitter handle too. Dom, are you there? AngryBritain Dom.
How you doing?
Hey, how are things? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, absolutely fine. You hear me all right?
I can hear you. I was just worried you might not be able to hear me over your rage.
Oh, yeah. There's plenty of rage this week.
I tell you what, actually, and this is going to be connected to what you're angry about tonight, I think. But you've already kicked off a bit of an argument on Twitter with one particular bicycle riding troll. What's it called? Cycling Reality.
That's the fella. Yeah, that's him.
He criticised us for not having many followers, but he's only got 36. Oh, I think...
I know.
Is it possible? Oh, I don't know whether... Oh, I don't know if he's been blocked. Yeah, he was very rude, you know? And this is the thing. Don't come in and say rude things and then run away. I said to him, it's a bit like last week, Dom, you know, when I was getting all of this abuse on Twitter from radical feminists saying you're a misogynist, you're a NASDAQ or whatever. I can't remember what the term was. And I was like, well, call in. Tell me. Talk to me. Educate me. Tell me what you think. And they don't.
Grow a pair.
Same thing with at Cycling Reality. I mean, I said to him, if you want to come on and have your say, then you kind of have to call up. I can't do it for you.
Absolutely.
But you annoyed him, didn't you? You annoyed him with a GIF. What was it?
I've kind of annoyed cyclists in general this week.
Have you? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
It kind of started on Monday, believe it or not.
Okay.
And,
I'm sure that came right out of
it.
the blue. And what did you do?
Yeah. Well, there was an alternative radio show that's obviously not as good as yours.
Clearly.
But they were talking about potholes.
Right.
And the state of our roads. So they had lots of cyclists ringing in.
Yeah.
And their attitude to potholes was ridiculous. It's just like they're entitled to perfect roads and no traffic and no drivers. And it's fine for them to ride 7 abreast on a narrow country lane.
Well, I don't see that's not connected to potholes, is it? I mean, potholes. As I ride my bike. I wouldn't call myself a cyclist in the sense that I'm riding my bike through London every day, but I have a bike. I ride it, and I do have to say, Dom, that when you're riding your bike, particularly in a busy city on a busy road, and then there's a big hole in it, it's dangerous. We're not talking here about my bum bone's hurting a bit because I went down a pothole. Can I say bum bone on? Oh, I can. It's gone midnight. But do you know what I mean? It's life and death we're talking here.
So anyway, we had some banter with these cyclists about potholes, but it turned into just the Lycra mafia kicking off generally against drivers. Right. So by bizarre coincidence, I was coming home on Tuesday. I live in the sort of the wilds of Kent, and I filmed a video on my dash cam. And what it was this guy on a lay-down bike. And I've learned since it's called a recumbent. So if you're biking, so it's basically a bike that's 6 inches off the road.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, when I say road, I mean dual carriageway. And when I say dual carriageway, I mean the main route to the port of Dover used by foreign lorries. So this idiot has come out of a slip road near Faversham at, let's say, 10 miles an hour being generous, almost been hit up the backside by a Nissan and caused a mass pile-up. Now, it might be legal, Andy, but isn't it really, really stupid? Or is it just me? Yeah,
I mean, that sounds pretty stupid to me. I like to say, I think cyclists are often maligned. They're often described as being very aggressive. Some are, without a doubt. But I've also seen dashcam videos of cars screaming past cyclists and them deliberately swerving or almost knocking the cyclists off or pushing them into a hedge was one. I think that Jeremy Vine, my mate on Radio 2 that I used to work with, he shared a video the other day of someone pushing a cyclist into a hedge. So it cuts both ways, Dom. Yeah, I
agree.
Do I think that those layback bikes, if you've got lorries screeching past you and you're going at 10 miles an hour, are you sure that he wasn't well out the way on the hard shoulder?
No, have a look at the video on my Twitter feed, Andy. It's pinned to the top of the feed for everyone to have a look at.
Oh, is it? I was just scrolling through because I thought I want to watch this. There's no swearing in it, is there?
No, there's no swearing. It's dead silent, so you'll be all right.
Right.
Just have a look. It's absolutely crazy.
You didn't film this, did you?
I filmed it. I've got a dash cam, yeah, so I caught it. It's one of those right time, right place.
This is on at AngryBritain.com. I'm watching it now. Okay, so here you go. Right, okay, so it's on the front of your car. I've got you. Right, I've got the sound down in case you swear, because I know that sometimes...
No, there's no sound. You're all right.
Oh, okay, fine. Right, so you're driving along. Yeah.
Okay, so we're driving along. Just watch. Takes a little while for him to come into view.
Oh, I see him. Yeah. He was just waving at the other cars. Like, he was telling them to move around him.
Yeah.
He's not a happy bunny, is he?
He's not a happy bunny.
Because he wants the car to go round him, I guess. He does look he looks prone to he looks dangerous. He does look very vulnerable there because you're so low to the ground, aren't you?
Absolutely. But you see the little flag he's got hanging off the back of it?
I saw the little flag.
So that makes him perfectly visible to fast-moving traffic. But this is the problem, Andy, with cyclists, you see. They think they're invincible. And just because doing that is legal, it makes it okay. And clearly, it doesn't. He's a danger to himself and everybody else on that stretch of road at that time.
Dom, stay there.
Madness.
We're going to talk to you in a second. Dom, we're going to talk to you in a second. I'm going to spend the next kind of minute or so trying to work out what I think of this, because, to be honest, I'm not entirely sure. You do the same thing. Call us 0208 70 20 558. We'll be back after this.
I've decided to cancel the world nuclear war in favor of a world trade war. It's less paperwork in the long run, that I could tell you.
If you're a fan of Crystal Palace, check out Love Sport tonight from 7.
Was Fossey Mensah still the right choice for you?
If everyone was available, I wouldn't play Fossey Mensah centre-back. His decision-making and his aerial abilities doesn't make him a centre-back right now. His pace to run back and his tackling abilities make him a super right-back. I think in the future he can be a very good centre-back.
The Crystal Palace Fan Show with 7otb.com on Love Sport.
You're listening to the Hashtag Show on Love Sport Radio, and I'm talking to Dom Bradbury, who is at AngryBritain. Definitely not the kind of man to backpedal when he's confronted by angry tweeters, right?
I'm applauding you right now.
What was the response then from people when you put that video up? That they were saying no, he's got a right to be on the road, because he has a right to be on the road.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I know he has a right to be on the road. Okay, I totally understand that. But what I don't understand is the fact that he's done that to himself on a dual carriageway. It's like wearing a meat suit in a lion enclosure. It's madness. He's going to die at some point.
Well, I sincerely hope he doesn't. I mean, perhaps if drivers are a little bit more aware of their surroundings, they would respect the fact that not everyone on the road is in a big chunk of metal. Some people are on spindly things with wheels.
Absolutely.
And I'm not talking about a Reliant Robin.
Yeah, but then fit a V8 to it. Do you know what I mean? It's not built to go on that piece of road. Now, funnily enough, talking of people looking out for him and backing him up, Surrey Roads Police, they were one of the biggest supporters, if you like, pointing out that he was quite entitled to be there and that if he gets flattened by an HGV, it's the driver's fault.
So you're going to be in trouble with Surrey Police then? They've got your number.
Oh, I've blocked them today.
You blocked Surrey Police?
I've blocked Surrey Police. Yes, I have.
I think you know you're making an impression online when you have to block Surrey Police. I mean, that's...
You know, somebody's got to do it, haven't they?
That's a pip for anyone's shoulder, isn't it? That's a medal that you wear with pride, perhaps. I don't know. Okay, so the solution to this is what? That cyclists just shouldn't be allowed on any public roads. Is that your solution?
No, they should totally be allowed on public roads, but they need to consider themselves. Like you say,
But he
They're
wasn't...
on tiny little spindly bits of metal.
Well, no, because cyclists do consider themselves. That's your problem, isn't it, Dom? That's your problem, that they consider themselves too much. Cyclists...
They do consider themselves. Exactly.
The consideration, Dom, needs to come from the car drivers, the lorry drivers, the van drivers, not from the cyclists, doesn't it? Because they're the ones driving, a ton of metal down the road at 70 miles an hour.
Yeah, but the same thing's to be said when they're riding around in cities, Andy, going through red lights and across pedestrian crossings, knocking people over. So it works both ways, doesn't it?
Well, I do find when I'm walking around London, you get cyclists who are kind of shouting and screaming at car drivers saying, look where you're going, and then 2 seconds later they almost knock an elderly woman over with her shopping because they're not looking where they're going.
They're the ones with the cameras strapped to their helmets, aren't they?
Maybe it's a bloke thing. Do you think it's a bloke thing that when we're doing this kind of exercise, the testosterone gets pumping and you're kind of enjoying the kind of power on the pedals and you lose a bit of your sanity maybe and you get aggressive?
Well, it's like road rage, isn't it, I suppose, but for cyclists. But the difference is, if you have a road rage incident in a car, at the worst way you're going to scuff your paint, possibly. If you have one on a bike, you're going to come off badly. Now, funnily enough, tonight on Channel 4, there was a 999 show with a cyclist, lady cyclist, lovely lady, hit by an HGV. How do you think that went?
How do I think? Well...
Quite, but she's all right, fortunately. But it just goes to show that cyclist's first big bit of metal is not going to ever end well.
Well, no, it isn't. But it's like you're saying in that case, it's her fault. It doesn't sound like it's not her fault, is it?
It's about risk, isn't it? They're putting themselves at unnecessary risk.
Yeah, but we
take
all
an
do.
Alternative route. Take a quieter route.
We all do that. We all put ourselves... Look, we have to be free as human beings, Don, to be able to put ourselves at risk to enjoy life and to do things that might be a little bit dangerous, but perhaps they're good for our health. We put ourselves at risk by driving around in cars all the time because we get fat.
Absolutely, but the difference is with driving a car, Andy, is we have to take a test and we have to pay insurance.
Well,
what do cyclists do? Any idiot can get on a road on a bike. No insurance, nothing.
The reaction that you get on Twitter from cyclists, then, do you think they've tracked you down? And because there are little subsets on Twitter, aren't there, that are very, very angry. So there's people who are very angry about the issue of feminism. There's people who are very angry who are, and I say this as a gay man, there are some very angry gay men who will just try and troll people that they disagree with. Cyclists are definitely one of them. Vegans, another one.
Absolutely. We've done vegans, haven't we? No, but the cyclists, I mean, this is like I'll do my maths here. We're talking about nearly a 72-hour tirade from cyclists over this issue. Crazy.
Do you think you're going to be banned from Twitter like Tommy Robinson?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Hope not.
Do you think they've complained about you to Twitter?
It'd be pretty boring if I was banned.
It might not trend. It might not be one of the top worldwide trends if you're banned from Twitter, Dom. It'd be
the
a loss to us.
Be very upset.
It'd be a loss to us. We even on this show get a little bit of stick for having you as one of our regular voices on the programme.
Excellent. So it's publicity, Andy. That's what they call that.
Yeah. Well, do you know, I'm not even being that cynical about it. I genuinely have this weird and unusual attitude that as long as someone isn't actually being completely vile and repulsive and aggressive and violent, and as long as they're not actually hurting anyone apart from maybe their ego or their opinions, then they have a place on this programme. I don't have to agree with everything you say. You don't have to agree with everything I say. We can talk because we're adults.
Exactly. That's what makes the world interesting.
It doesn't happen on Twitter much, does it? If someone disagrees with you, it's like they're just screaming.
They're going to kill you. Yeah, absolutely. And it goes from one extreme to the other. You can be having a nice chat with someone, but in the next tweet they want to kill you. There's no middle ground.
So has anything else been winding you up other than cyclists, or is that basically just completely taken up all of your brain space?
That's pretty much taken all of my brain space this week. But
not cauliflower. Oh, sorry, go on.
Not cauliflower, but MasterChef. Oh,
MasterChef.
I'm with you, Andy, completely. I mean, how poncey is MasterChef? It's just, isn't it ridiculous?
It's kind of become a bit of a truism and a cliche, but I have once been to one of those restaurants where they have a taster menu, and it cost a lot of money, and thank goodness I wasn't paying. But it was, a little bit of dog spit on top of a cracker the size of...
I think I've been to that restaurant. Yeah.
Yeah, what was it, a Wimpy?
Yeah, that's the one, yeah.
Yeah, Heston Blumenthal when he redid the Wimpies. Marshall, I can't watch it. Well, I just find food programmes really boring. I find food programmes boring. I find nature programmes boring. I do. And boring is such a boring word, but it's true. I can't understand how someone can sit through Bake Off and MasterChef. But I say especially MasterChef. I say that as someone who was on Big Brother, though. So, oh, really?
There's a guilty exclusive for you.
Well, you're someone who likes to be wound up, and I think before I went on the programme, I used to say to, all of my ex-partners, of which there are many, when we used to watch it on TV, I'd say, what kind of idiot do you have to be to go on Big Brother? How desperate do you need to be to go on that programme? How pathetic!
The one sitting right here. Yeah.
And I could never do that because I would get too stressed and too angry. And I was right. It was very stressful and angering on there. You would. I think you might actually do quite well on Big Brother if you went in there.
I think I would make a superb housemate.
You might get kicked out.
That's fine. I'm all right with that.
They should do a house with like 20 cyclists and you, and just see how long the programme stays on.
No, let's have some cyclists, some vegans, and who else? Some feminists. That would be awesome television.
Well, actually, they're recruiting right now. They're doing their auditions, Dom, so I don't think it's too late. You can put together a video. I'm doing a free advert now for Endemol and Channel 5, but hey, don't bite the hand that feeds. They're doing their auditions. You can put your video together, send it off. Who knows?
Time to fire up YouTube. Who knows?
Who knows? I'll be watching you this summer.
That would be a bit weird, Andy.
It would be a bit weird, but it'd be a turn up for the books, wouldn't it? Any predictions? I always ask Dr. Pat Cancer, our astrologer, what his predictions are for the next week. He's never very forthcoming, I have to say, for an astrologer. But if you were to take a running bet as to what's going to get your goat this week, is there anything on the horizon that's already starting to niggle?
What's niggling at the moment? I imagine we're going to have the English Patriots of Twitter kicking off this week. I can see that happening. So that'll be
English Patriot of Twitter.
Yeah. Yes.
What does that mean?
The dark underbelly of Twitter that will be mightily annoyed that Tommy Robinson has been permanently banned tonight.
Well, do you know what, actually, if you will come back for me next week and tell me what you think about that and anything else, then I'd really appreciate it, because I would like to know what your response is to their response, because you're not one of those bleeding heart liberals. Will you do that?
I would love to.
All right, nice talking to you. Have a good morning, I should say, I suppose, rather than night. We'll be back straight after this.
Let me tell you.